What's something your job trained you to notice that you can't stop noticing in your personal life? At one point in school, I worked in a research lab where we watched parent-child interactions and coded them based on the presence of reflective speech, praise statements, commands, criticisms, etc. I started avoiding public places with a lot of children because I couldn't stop noticing how often most parents subtly criticized their children or were just outwardly mean to them. Most billboards have too much text on them. They require extreme restraint. Bucky Ease gets it. Improper stocking. I can't help but fix shit while in shopping for groceries now. Sales tactics. My favorite is, you look like an intelligent guy. Analyzing gait patterns, I'm in physical therapy. Typos. And my husband will walk into any building and point out the security cameras and which ones are fake. How often people touch their face. Classically trained chef. You learned mise en place on day one. Just fancy French for everything in place. Now it doesn't matter what I'm going to do, everything must be in place before I start. I've been working in urban planning since 2018. I always notice when a curb ramp or sidewalk isn't ADA compliant. Signs of heart disease. Noticed my father-in-law's legs looking swollen the other day. Already anticipating the conversation around getting heart surgery. As a trained and certified usability expert, the world is filled with inefficiencies. E.g. The other day, I was at a large party, and the caterer had put the coffee pot in the center of the table, with milk/cream on one side, and sugar on the other. Making the lineup wait longer, as each person had to go to one side, then the other side to fix their drink. Looking over a person's place, looking for things to fix or will become an issue later. And always looking for every exit and path. How much of the news is generated by PR people, which stories are ruining some PR guy's week, and how far, if it bleeds, it leads, has come to define local news. Veins, airway characteristics. I am assessing whether I could place an 4 and intubate pretty much everyone. I work in film, specifically post-production. So I catch most minute incorrect details in movies/TV shows, sometimes down to the frame or pixel. It's annoying to me because sometimes I just want to turn my brain off, but I can't help but catch when something's incorrect. That's my job. And now it's also annoying to my family. I have to share when I find something. I can't walk into a restaurant with noticing dust on wall decor and light bulbs that need to be replaced. Not blindly walking around corners in prison, so I check left and right before I make a corner, and I check behind doors. I have a habit of leaving lights on because I feel it's unsafe to be dark. AI speech and content. I've worked with a couple AI-driven platforms over the last 2 years, and I've become so familiar with the typical AI patterns that I'm seeing so much of it everywhere, from Reddit to Facebook to YouTube to ads to news articles and so on. It's driving me a bit crazy at this point. Some may say it's just confirmation bias, but I can tell you with almost complete certainty that I never saw these patterns and types of writing in these spaces before AI was a thing. Trained and work in behavioral sciences, you don't want to know, trust me. In my teens, I worked at gas station. I was required to put all the bills in the register all facing the same direction/same orientation. 20+ years later, and the bills in my back pocket are all orientated the same way. Today I was stuck in traffic and I noticed the VIN on the door of the semi next to me wasn't 17 numbers. Teenagers being assholes. Spelling and punctuation mistakes in stores' publications. 30 years in high schools. At least 6 to go. Rearranging stores constantly to confuse shoppers and keep them there longer. Whenever I see people on ladders, I'm like, hey, 3 points of contact. Or, hey, the angle's too low, and run over to hold it so they don't kill themselves. Another one, there's never enough extension above the roof to safely hold on to get back down. Does my head in? We offer amazing customer service where I work. Every time I get subpar service I get bummed out. Just how bad people are at reading their dog's body language and how bad most owners' handling skills are. Basically anything that could lead to a consumer lawsuit. Ranges from a slightly uneven floor that could lead to a slip and fall to poor product design that could cause injury if misused to badly worded packaging that could lead to a false advertising lawsuit. Sales jobs changed the way I talk to people for better or for worse. A lot of conversations feel transactional now. Egress. In the military we were trained to not block pathways to the exits. At my current job, I have to clear the path if someone blocks it, mostly just because of habit, but you never know when a fire or earthquake might cause you to need to exit fast. The vehicle registration on the tags. Thinking that yours has expired by a few months, better take care of that, or yours is going to expire, or noticing all the personalized plates. As a nurse of 23 years, it's hard not to assess some people by just looking at them. Certain red flags just stand out as potential diagnoses. Another one would be noticing really great veins that look great for starting IVs on. Thyroid nodules, gait issues, rosacea, clubbing, hypermobile joints, the list goes on and on and on. I was an internet installation technician. I noticed the main hub out on the streets, 66 blocks where you punch down wiring, MPOEs, which are the rooms where the wiring comes in from the streets, and the way people wire their services. Not my job per se, but my mother worked as a proofreader for several years. I can't help but notice typos when they're there. Former social worker here, abuse and neglect investigations, I'm hyper-aware of who's in a room, especially if kids are present. I never knock on a door/ring a doorbell/wait for an elevator facing straight ahead. I'm always standing at an angle. Reasoning, we're trained to minimize the area in which a bullet can hit if someone opens the door and starts shooting. I worked at Chick-fil-A. I sometimes still instinctively say, "My pleasure," when someone says thank you. Nothing too exciting, just always notice crappy paint jobs, haha. I work in risk/safety analysis. It makes me overthink everything I do because I am wired to consider every possible outcome, lol. It gets to the point where sometimes I just abort the task entirely. Don't have to worry about outcomes if you simply just don't do shit, lol. Invasive plant species everywhere. I'm a photo retoucher. I notice fucking everything. Invasive bush honeysuckle. People don't communicate with their dogs well or at all. I'm a bra fitting specialist. Once you can identify what a bad fit looks like, you realize how very few people are in good fits. Even more so on the models in catalogs and adverts for reputable brands. I still haven't figured out a neutral way to approach someone in public when I can tell they struggle with their fit. Not exactly a great icebreaker, lol. A lot of men really need a fluffer. Scanning the pool or beach, noting every child and watching for struggling in deeper water. I haven't been a lifeguard for 30 years and I still scan the water. Now, as a homeowner, I've started doing home improvement projects including drywall and tiling. You have no idea how many shitty tiling jobs there are out there. I am psychotherapist. If I listed the things I am trained to notice, I would be up all night.